Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome to Zom 100. And the series also has some subtitle. What is it? Zom 100 Zombie ni naru made ni Shitai 100 no Koto. Which goes like 100 things on my bucket lists or something of that sort. I don't know. Zom 100. I think that will suffice. I don't know much about this series. Obviously, it's something new. It's a seasonal show. It is based on a manga, but I have not read it. I have not even heard of it, to be perfectly honest with you. So this is something completely new to me. Of course, I've read the synopsis, I've seen the trailer, the link to the live stream should be somewhere in the corner, where we went through all of the seasonals of summer 2023, including Zom 100. And the one and only thing, well, not the one and only thing, but the one thing, the major thing I got from the trailer is that it's going to be a very stylish show. They're not going for full realism, neither in the story nor in the visual aspect. Or rather, I mean, I can't say anything about the story, although the synopsis seems pretty wild, but certainly the art style is very, very stylish. Purple blood, pink entrails, stuff like that. It's going to be a festival of colors, I have a feeling. And I'm going to assume the story is going to follow such wild tracks. Usually, art style of a show matches the vibe of it, matches the story, right? You wouldn't really have a drama, horror, thriller kind of a show that has a very wild and colorful aesthetic. And similarly, you wouldn't have a comedy that looks entirely drab. So there is certain connection between those two. The synopsis: our main character is working a dead end job, and suddenly a zombie apocalypse happens, and he sees that, hey, actually, zombies are better than my current job, so it's good. It's good. I'm gonna have some zombie vacation. I have so many things I wanted to do, and now there's no societies in downfall. There are no rules. Everywhere there are zombies. I can do whatever I want, and I don't have to go to work. Which I guess this is the logical conclusion of certain escapist fantasies that I think at least some of us had. I know I did. That, hey, if a zombie apocalypse happened and the society was upturned or just fell completely, wouldn't it be kind of nice, you know? Having a little garden on the roof of your apartment complex, turning your, I know, chair's leg into a club and going out there bashing zombies' heads in. Wouldn't it be fun, really, to just get away from the shackles of society and just go completely wild? And it's no surprise that a manga like this was made, and it's no surprise that it eventually got an adaptation. From what I hear, the manga is very good. So the anime should follow. Also, I think it's like in the first place in some like seasonal anime chart of popularity or something like that. I vaguely recall seeing something like that on Reddit or Twitter or somewhere. So it has to be good. I'm of course coming in a little bit late to it because I think episode 2 is already out, but oh well, life, it just happens. Yeah, you are seeing the reflection of my fan. I hope it's not too distracting, but it's 31 degrees Celsius in my room right now, and it's only 6 in the morning. I resorted to recording in the mornings and during the night because then the temperature falls into somewhat bearable ranges. But even then, it's hot. Another reason to be excited for a zombie apocalypse, right? It would reduce humanity's carbon footprint, and perhaps the climate would go back to how it used to be. I know, but I really like the idea of this show. That much I know. No, nothing else I know about it. I don't remember the studio. I don't know the voice actors, the staff. Nobody like that. We will be taking a look at it. Speaking of, if you're new to the channel, you're probably unfamiliar with the formula. Right now, it's a little bit of an intro. That's quite obvious, I'd like to think. Then we will watch the show with a timer and a bunch of subtitles, so you can sync up your own copy of the show. Then we will take a look at... There we go. At the show once more from the very beginning, skipping and seeking through it to like more interesting tidbits to discuss them in depth. Then we will, in the same view actually, we will go through the staff, only in the first episode, the staff, studio, etc., etc. And lastly, we will summarize what just happened. I will share my thoughts about this episode. And lastly, an outro, of course. I think that about does it. So how about we just jump into watching this episode right now? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for your support, monetary, for example, on Patreon, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 1 of Zom 100, version by subs, please, in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. First person view. Interesting. Oh, those are 3D environments, aren't they? They look good, though. Memento Mori. How topical, huh? For the situation they're in. Also, that's a very fast transformation. And fast zombies. A lot of fast zombies, okay. Whomst? Oh, another zombie. I thought some sort of a superhero girl or something. Ah, okay, it's just a movie. Or is it the news? Just a movie. Yeah, pure escapism. I can relate. I can relate to those thoughts. Yep. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. Yeah. That's a nice apartment. Production. Oh, movies. Gotcha. I was about to ask production of what, but I saw the posters. Okay, commercials. I guess that also works. immediate chemistry. Love at first sight. Love at first sight, indeed. Saori Otori. Gotcha. Faito. On the first day, maybe, but the charm quickly wears off. I'm immediately remembering my first job. Going there, first day, nice atmosphere, my own like station, brand new keyboard, stuff like that. And then it turned out I'm working with legacy software. Okay, what changed with the company that turned it black? She is. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. Okay. Oh, no sleep, just work. So it was a black company right from the get go. I mean, it's a Japanese company, so of course it's normal. Never. You live in Japan. You live in the office. Yep. Okay, so maybe my first job wasn't that bad. 2 hours commute in each direction, but at least I would go home every day. I know that feeling, bro. I mean, you did choose the career, but you can always change the company. I guess that's not how it works in Japan, but I love the style of this show. Letterboxed, shaky cam, and the music is great. uh, Ulcers and pissing blood. Subs, please. Oh, and people started quitting. Yep, yep, yep. Reductions by the company to save money, or people's bodies just fucking breaking down mentally, and you need to pick up more load. Classic. How is she so chipper? Question is, how does she keep herself sane? Oh, that's how. Okay. So I guess she has certain benefits because of that. Well, shit. I guess not even the one thing that keeps you sane that actually keeps you sane there. Yes. Just like get out, give your resignation letter, take a week off to find a new job. Well, there's gonna be a sixth. That's your boss's deal. Breaking point. Hmm. Passive suicidal thoughts. Again, I can relate. Yeah, I mean that's how it works. It's essentially a an abusive relationship. Yeah, he looks more like a zombie than zombies. I love the style. How it gets bleaker and bleaker and bleaker with every passing minute. Loses color, loses sound. I'd ask, can't you just set up a recurring transfer in your like bank app? But again, it's Japan. They don't have functioning banking there. And here comes the zombie apocalypse. And suddenly color. And suddenly music, suddenly action. Colorful blood, fast zombies. Okay, so his blood is red. What work? Everybody's already a zombie, probably. Another gust of color, and color slowly comes back in. Yep. A society has fallen. Oh, his work outfit dropping to the floor. I love it. Yep. And suddenly color, suddenly action. I love it. Great music, great style, great art, great animation, amazing camera work. This is gonna be the visual treat of the season. Like Yofukashi no Uta was to me like 2 seasons back. Zone 100, that's gonna be it. Yep. Color came back to the world. It's a classic like rom-com piece scene. Him laying on the roof, looking at the bright blue sky. Except there are zombies. Yep. The beat is starting. I'm just waiting for the drop. Okay, not quite the drop I expected, but it's good as well. I can't help but smile. Oh, well, he got isekai'd. How'd you get access to company systems? He like completely disregards the entire zombie apocalypse, and I love it. Zombies aren't his biggest issue. Potentially coming off as creepy towards the coworker he has a crush on, that's his biggest issue. Well, she better be fine. Oh, the boss. Well, I guess the boss is not fine at least. That's an interesting transformation. So people aren't just turning into regular basic zombies, but there seem to be some variations. And the epic music in the background. It's just a quitting speech, but the music is so epic. The best way you can resign from your job, just tackle your boss and throw him outside of the window. That was so shonen final battle with power of Nakama. I love it. Okay, what happened to Otori? Is she fine, or has she been beaten? Oh, colorful blood, so she's a zombie. Yep, yep. I guess you're gonna have to find another crush. Or shut her in the apartment and wait for a cure, potentially. There was a manga, I think, with a similar plot, where the main character just kept a zombified woman in like a jail cell or something. That's not a kiss she's running towards. It's like a breakup. There's really a lot of parallels to like rom-com, generic shonens. I like it. I really do. Yep. So carpe diem. Useful pen. That's an interesting brand. That was great. Great music. I hope it's the opening song. Probably is. Oh, I enjoyed myself. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. Highlight of the season, probably so far. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been watching some really good shows. I started watching some really good shows this season, and I'm yet to start at least a couple of them. But this, yeah, good. Thumbs up, seal of approval, all that jazz. So good, in fact, that we should probably watch it again, right? Uh, so we start with a classic standard zombie movie. And yeah, compared to The Office, that would be heaven, huh? Uh, it is. I don't know how common of an escapist fantasy it is, like a zombie apocalypse kind of a situation. But I have experience, quote unquote, with that. Back in high school, I was treated for depression, and there was a group therapy. And one of the most common topics that we would cover when talking there, just not like talking on the topic, so to speak, but trying to stray off the topic, if you know what I mean, it would be talking about zombie apocalypse, how we would manage, how would we do, who would do what, stuff like that. It was something very common to our group, and I wonder how common that is, because someone, at least one more person, at least the mangaka of this series, had to have the same exact or fairly similar escapist fantasy. Very, very interesting to see something that I thought was very specific to myself and a group of people I knew, and see that someone on the opposite side of the world had a very similar fantasy to that, and decided to turn it into a story. I need to sleep since tomorrow's I get work again. Yeah, that sucks very much. And speaking from experience, if every day that you wake up, your first thought is, fucking work again, change your job. Honestly, change your job. Because it's no way to live. Take a pay cut if need be. But, you know, do it. Honestly. I didn't like my first job. Now, sure, I lost it because COVID and reductions in staff, and I was the first one to be removed. But I already had my resignation letter prepared because I didn't like it. In my current job as a teacher, I switched from full time to half time because I noticed that full time is way too straining, way too hard for me to do, and halftime was perfect. Did I take a pay cut? Yes, I did. It's the mental health and time I gained by switching to halftime worth the pay cut I took? Hell fucking yeah, it is. So take care of yourselves, guys. Really, take care of yourselves. You can always find a different job, you can always find a better job. Always. But there comes a time where you can't easily make your health, mental and physical, better. So don't get it to that point, you know? Production department, yeah, first day, very colorful, everybody's cheerful, everybody greets him. Production company, industry I dreamed about. Again, my first job was as a programmer. I dreamt about being a programmer. I got a what's it called in English? BNG, Bachelor of Engineering in programming. So you know all that jazz. And then it turns out, as I said, that I have to work with legacy software. Love at first sight, and honestly, I don't fault him. That's a cute face. The lips are a little bit tiny. Her lips and her eyelashes and her look very much evokes early 2000s shoujo series, kinda, sorta. Series that were mostly focused on pure, unadulterated, romanticized romance. Female characters usually had this style: very big eyes, very bushy eyelashes, and very tiny mouth. That you would have to wonder, how does she even eat? But of course, stylistic choice. Everything in this show is some sort of a stylistic choice. And of course, we go through the whole song and dance of sakura petals falling down, nice rotating camera. Good luck on your first day. Party with the company, and so far everything is fun, everything is fine. Oh, you played rugby, oh, that's cool. You're gonna be a valuable and dependable asset on our team. For sure, we're having fun, aren't we? Thank you very much for today, and back to work. The work never stops. 3 past 2. Okay, yeah. I wanted to check if the time on the analog clock matches the time on the digital, but yeah, it does. This very like horror camera, it's very often used in horrors. This can't be normal. Again, it is. You live in Japan. That's the work culture. I mean, perhaps not to that degree, but work culture in Japan is essentially you live work after your boss does. You don't dare leave before they do. And if the boss pulls an all-nighter, you pull an all-nighter. And you're not the first one to exit the office, because you're seen as not an asset anymore, right? You don't work 9 to 5, you work 7 to however long it takes. One of those exploitative corporations. Yep, a black company, very much so. Although, again, from the perspective of a European, pretty much every company in Japan is a black company, from what I hear about them, and even from what I see in media. Even like New Game, that series about cute girls making games. What was there? Shirobako, series about making an anime. Both of those series, or rather, none of those series were portrayed as a commentary on exploitative practices of companies, right? And they were portrayed as normal workplaces, essentially. and the characters would come into work in the morning and leave after sundown, and some of them would even spend the night. And it wasn't presented as something, that would be a commentary on the situation. No, it was presented as something normal, the way a character in a Western animation, is in a Western cartoon, might go to work at 9 and leave it at 5. That was the exact depiction. So even cute girls doing cute things, from my perspective, was still set in a black corporation. All of a sudden, I don't want to go to work, but right, it's all dark. Sure, it's early morning, so of course everything is very desaturated, but he still has that spark, that little bit of a spark, right? Okay, some cold water. This is nothing. I'm gonna get used to it. I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna work through it. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna rise up the corporate ladder. I'm gonna impress my crush. Things like that, of course. Of course, yeah, you get some anniversary days off, mental health days, yeah, but nobody ever used them because of the work culture. You might be getting all those days off, but don't you fucking dare use them, essentially. Good-natured competition. How much unpaid overtime did you log last month? Is something to brag about, not something to complain about. This is a very corpo culture, also, I noticed. Right? The corpo speak. Good-natured competition stands for this. Being self-sufficient stands for you're gonna be put on the project alone and fucking deal with it because you're not gonna get any help. We're looking for a very goal-oriented person. You need to pester our customers, our clients, to give you their money, or else you're not gonna be a valuable asset. It really seems like corporal speak. So it's a very nice commentary, I guess. Blessed with kind co-workers. Dinner's on me, and he throws a can of Red Bull. 210,000 yen. Is it a lot or is it not? Let me check it out. Check it out really quick. 21 Japanese yen. That's $1,500. Or 6,000 Polish zloty. That's a lot. That's a lot. From my perspective, that's a lot. I wish I could earn that much. Well, not by working in a company like this, but I wish I would earn that much. That's a lot. Classic mobbing at the workplace, but he's so passionate about mentoring that some employees are moved to tears. Corpo speak. Everyone at the office is very health conscious. Yep, everybody's eating their supplements, drinking their energy drinks, and using cold patches, and talking about their ulcers and pissing blood. Because of course, not bathing or nothing. Takahashi's out, so you take over. Of course, reductions at the company. People either being fired or not being able to deal with the pressure, or whatever the reason, you get fewer and fewer and fewer people at work, but the amount of work that needs to be done stays the same. So some people, case in point, need to pick up their slack. And here we start the passive suicidal thoughts, is what I like to call it. I think the proper name is suicidal ideations. I'm not sure though. Essentially, I'm not going to take any steps towards taking my own life. But if it just so happened that I get run over, I wouldn't be all that mad, actually. I have experience with that. Walking on the edge of a sidewalk, in front of me a truck coming right at me, and I'm walking at the edge. Is it going to hit me? Maybe, maybe not. If I survive, oh well, so be it. If I don't, oh well, so be it. As evidenced, I survived, and I like to think I get better, but it doesn't change the fact that I went through it. But it's still passive, and he still has that outside, whatchamacallit, that outside reason, that outside spark that drives him, that outside drive to work. Earlier, we saw that he has that inner spark still, right? He can stand up, wash his face, smack his cheeks, and go to work. Here, at this time, he probably no longer has that inner spark, but there is an outside spark. There is an outside motivation to be doing that. And he's Otori, the one person keeping him sane. And now, even that is falling apart. Even that. We see this fisheye lens. Again, it signifies horror. Trash. It is a box of trash, but at the same time, he is feeling like trash. Boxing his thoughts, shutting his thoughts, putting them aside. Still keeping his love for Otori, still keeping his idealized vision of her, and all the negative thoughts, all the negative reality even gets put in a box. They get disassociated from, right? Let's put it aside, let's close it, let's separate it physically from the rest of my mind. And here, questioning, why am I still working here? Should I find another job? No, impossible. Where would I find the time? Well, you would find the time by handing in your resignation first, and then you would have all the time in the world to be looking for another job. Assuming, of course, you have some savings, which you should have. Which you really should have. That's one of the reasons why having some savings is good. Have at least a week's worth of savings. I like to keep a month's worth of savings, personally, maybe even 2, but at least a week. Because you can potentially find a job in a week. It might be as a cashier or something like that, but within a week, you can find a job. So you should have this, wiggle room that allows you to be jobless for at least a week. If I leave, the team will have to pick up my slack. That's a very common thing at abusive companies. Which arguably you could say is every company, but that's a different discussion. We are a family, right? We are all so tight-knit. We're a family. That grows the guilt in you, right? If you go home, if you don't agree to unpaid overtime, for example, someone else will have to pick up your slack. And we're a family, and you don't do that to your family. If I leave, someone will have to take my position. And that would be bad for them, because we are a family. And I wouldn't want to hurt my family. Again, very corporate way of operating. of taking agency away from employees. And of course, there are worse companies than mine in the industry. This is also how abusive relationships work. That's exactly and precisely how they work. Abusive relationships, abusive companies, abusive families, abusive whatever, all of them pretty much work on the same rules, right? If I leave her right now, how will she do for rent without me? Right? If I leave him right now, oh, he can't, I don't know, wash his clothes, what will he wear? You know? Stuff like that. Same goes for the company. Here, there are worse companies than mine in the industry. Oh, there are worse people. I don't have it that bad with him. I don't have it that bad in this company. There are families that are much more pathological than mine, you know? Again, there are worse ones, but there are better ones as well. That's what you need to always remember. There's always potential for better. You can always find a better partner. You can always find a better job. You can always find better people in your life. Always. And right now, he's a zombie. All of the color has been drained from the screen. There isn't even a shred of a color remaining. Is he using asset antivirus? I think he might be. No, it's a different logo. And of course, you want to do your job well, but you can't because the higher ups are want something or are making changes, or the timeline is not long enough. The amount of time is insufficient. Again, something I kind of sort of had experience with in my first job. The project I got to work on, I would gladly just rewrite it from scratch because it was so badly written, but we cannot allocate time for that. HR wants their green little save button and they want it now. We don't have the time to rewrite it, so keep tacking on, tacking on, tacking on, tacking on until it works and does what it needs to do. And all the tickets on Jira, or did we use Jira or did we use something else? I think it might have been Jira. Until all those tickets are cleared, right? We have the time for that. We don't have the time for a rewrite. You want to do something good, you come in with the mindset of, I want to do my job properly. And it turns out you cannot. Because it takes too much time, because it takes too much funds, because of this, because of that. I already signed the cast and crew to work on a shoestring budget. How do I make it up to them? It shouldn't be your problem, it should be your superior's problem. Your company is making the product, right? Your company is paying them. Your company should be dealing with that client, not you directly. Reversal, right? He's being the harasser, but he projects his harassment onto others. Are you harassing me? Are you harassing me? Another classic in an abusive relationship, in an abusive company. And from passive suicidal ideations, we came full on to active. Active, but still with a hint of not even passivity, but resignation. He's not, at this point, he's not even driven enough to jump over the barrier. He could. It's not that high, but he won't. Because he doesn't even have motivation for that. He doesn't even have enough spark, enough life left in him to take actions to take it. a husk of a human. Mind control, the evils of exploitative corporations. Yep, mind control, essentially. Long working hours, bullying from the higher ups, robs employees of their will to quit. Of their will to quit the company and of their will to quit their own lives. The same works again in a relationship. Robs people of their will to quit their relationship. Losing even the ability to make a simple decision. Exactly. They fall into depression. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly how it works. And you don't see that. You as a victim don't see that. That's the scariest part. You just don't see that. You need someone from the outside to tell you about it and to convince you. There is a statistic that says it takes, I don't want to lie, I think it's like between 4 and 7, something thereabouts. It takes that many attempts for a person in an abusive relationship to finally leave it. They come back to their abuser at least 3, 4, 5 times because they become so dependent, they become so stripped of their own will, and they become so blind to that as well. And the same goes for companies. Yeah, it would be fun to just go to sleep and never wake up, huh? Alas, you won't be given that opportunity. And now we have completely zero color. Everything is grayscale. Everything is monochromatic. There's not even any sound. There's no music. Nothing. There's no life in the world. And suddenly, oddly enough, it is a dead, shambling corpse, stained with blood, that brings life back to life, to the world, that brings color back. A brief flash of excitement, and suddenly, no, it can't be that exciting after all, but there is still color. And initially, when I was watching the trailer, I thought that colorful blood on zombies might be an interesting way to essentially add censorship to the show. That also isn't out of place because it's stylistic, it's stylized, it's stylish, but at the same time, it doesn't show straight up blood. But now I think it serves even more of a purpose because when our main character was bleeding, the blood was actually red. It wasn't purple, it wasn't white like in Chinese censorships, it wasn't black, it wasn't any other color, it was red. So the fact that blood on zombies is colorful and not just red means they are the most colorful thing in the world right now. They are the thing that brings the most life to the world. Which is ironic, but also very cool. Some really cool shots. Some really, really, really cool shots. I don't think any of that is on Sakugabooru yet, or maybe it is. Also, I think there is some... sorry, there's sun right now and I need to block it to see better. There's some film grain, there is some chromatic aberration. And the textures on the walls are also flat and drawn. The tiles aren't actually modeled, but besides that, I think the environment is CG. Yeah, his blood is red. Zombies' blood is not. Or rather, blood stains of other people. Okay, now this doesn't look like great CG. Some great smear frames. And pieces of this run animation are animated on ones. Which really gives that snappiness to this animation. Right? That sometimes it's slower and then it speeds up briefly, and then it slows down and then it speeds up. Almost like squash and stretch. See, this is how you do a nice panning, rotating shot in an environment. Not like the I don't remember the title of it, but the romance show of this season that has like slowly flying cameras around. This is how you do it. It needs to be a conscious, stylistic choice that actually matters. Where was that? Oh no, it's not the time for a slide yet. Burning plane carries also other bits of color. The flames have color, the sparks have color, because it's another unusual, abnormal thing in the world right now. Everything else is normal. Falling planes, fires in the city, zombies, they aren't. So they get the color. They bring color to the world right now. They're very negative things. They're very bad things to happen. But they aren't boring. They're interesting. They're colorful. And the realization and just being spirited away almost. His work attire, his work backpack, his little lanyard with the ID card, all of that dropping to the floor. No more work. And great cuts. From this falling shoe to the shoe on his head, on his leg. I'm free, and here comes the final realization. A lot of color, splashes of color, colorful explosions. It's almost like the Indian festival of colors with dust, colorful dust being thrown in the air. It's a joyous occasion. It's a celebration of fun, celebration of life. This is great style. Some random squiggles. This is, I think it's the shot of like actually traveling along some road in Japan, but heavily stylized again. More squiggles. You can vaguely see a person. You can vaguely see an eye. You can vaguely see like brain synapses or veins. What is it? I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is because it looks cool. And then more speed, more flashing lights. Entire cosmos turning into this more squiggles, but entirely black and white with accents of color. Very like drawn with charcoal sort of a look to this explosion. We are reducing all the colors, the entire universe and everything else to a single spark, single point in its simplest form of a coal drawing, and then everything explodes from there. The world is alive again. I am alive again. Life is interesting again. I'm having fun. Shit is exploding. People are dying. But by God, I'm having fun. This is great. Just splattered them into colorful paint. Would that actually happen? No. But it's stylish. The bend to this little shed and all of that. this show doesn't care about realism. It cares about the message, it cares about the style. Here's the slide. Here's the slide that I wanted to see. First person shot again. And a slide underneath. Very cool. I love some of those, all of those camera shots. Until yesterday, I saw the world in monochrome, shrouded in black cloud. Literally, the world was monochromatic. But now, there's none of that. Leaving that room behind. Leaving that monochromatic room of work and superiors and everything behind. Skies are blue, trees are green, blood is red. How colorful is the world? Amazing contrast to just how happy he is compared to all those zombies running after him. And this is a very very romancy scene. Not just romancy, but it's used in similar, like, romanticized moments. All that's missing is his girlfriend laying next to him or head to head with him and them having a talk about something, you know? It's almost like he's a school student right now. Right? Laying on the roof of his school after having a nice, grand time during the sports festival and being able to kiss his crush. And the sports festival was a success, and he's laying there content with his school bag right next to him. And that innocent question, what to do today? Do I go for some ice cream with my friends? Do I go play some games at home? Do I go, oh, maybe I can invite that girl I really liked to some crepes at the nearby park? Very... Where's my other shoe? There it is. Very normal. And so many plans. Motorcycle license, going to Yokoshima, start drinking, probably not the best idea, but you do you. It's your dreams, it's something you want to do, so go ahead and do that. Just don't get addicted, because addiction is a bitch, trust me. And now I can do it all. Well, I wonder if there's still a government body that would take your motorcycle license, but hey, take it of a dead corpse and paste your own photo in. Who's gonna say no? Who's gonna check it? There's no police. And all of that contrasted with those horrific looking zombies. Very, very Genki, like springy, spring back up. Initially I thought the soles on his shoes are red, but no, it's blood. It's just blood. He's splattered with blood, but so happy. Who cares if she's someone's side chick? I'd rather get eaten by zombies than regret holding in these feelings. The clue of this show, the central message is, so far it seems to me, carpe diem. Carpe diem. Maybe tomorrow a zombie apocalypse is gonna start, so do the things you wanna do. Make a bucket list and start doing those things. You wanna visit France? Go visit France. Wrestle some rats. Absolutely, go do that. You always wanted to try, I know, diving for pearls? Go and dive for pearls. Go and do that. Don't just keep it in your head. Don't just keep those plans. Try to fulfill them. At least if you can't fulfill like big plans, like going to Hawaii for a week-long retreat or something, there certainly are smaller things that you want to do that you can do right now. Think of something that you want to do and you can do right now. Maybe you want to eat a pizza. Well, after you're done watching this video, or hell, maybe right now, just pause it. Pause it, go grab yourself a pizza. go do that. Those small things are also things that give us motivation to live, that give us life. What is life worth if we're not living, if we're not fulfilling our own desires? It might sound very indulgent. It might sound very what's the term for it? Fuck, I forgot. But yeah, as long as it's within reason, indulgence is necessary. We wouldn't have desires if they served no purpose. And life begins anew. Everything is burning. Tokyo Tower is burning. Mount Fuji isn't erupting, so I guess that's good. But all of the world, entirety of Japan at least, is just getting zombified. The world, for all intents and purposes, is going to shit. But it also becomes kind of nice. It becomes free. Free of all restraints, free of all obligations, free of all hierarchy. And again, as I said, I love the contrast of the world ending, and his biggest fear is whether his crush is going to think he's creepy or not. I love it. I love the contrast. I love how zombies so far aren't presented as a threat. At least not to our main character. They're not a threat, they're just a way that allowed him to get his life back on track. Just a safety check, indeed. And the boss is here, mutating, turning into some lumbering mass of flesh. Some bloater, kind of a type of a zombie. Also, colorful sparkles of, droplets. And this is just a I'm leaving my job speech. Yeah, the long hard hours have been overwhelming. And I can no longer do that. I don't have motivation, and I'm sorry, but I have to leave. I have to leave. I made my mind. I know I was inexperienced, but you mentored me. You know, that whole, speech when you don't want to burn the bridges behind you, but you still want to resign. Even a very, whatchamacallit? Not elegant, but very professional, as in a professional setting, bow, and then a rugby tackle. Some great impact frames. Please accept my resignation. This is great. Just Cosmos. It's not a impact frame. It is an impact frame, but it's not black and white. It's Cosmos and white. I love the stylistic choices here. And just throws him out of the window. And here we're losing everything. It's just line art. Line art in situations like that always symbolizes, very big effort, very a lot of power, a lot of strength being pushed into it. And the it in this case is, thank you very much. I'm resigning. And all the people cheering for Akira, his former teammates, his childhood friend, question mark, maybe sister, maybe someone, I don't know. His first crush, probably. His other teammates. Also, I like this sort of transition between fully imaginary, fully stylistic scenes for the sake of style and for the sake of storytelling into real world. Those like in static interference transitions are cool. And what of her? Unfortunately, zombified. But again, he takes it in stride. He's not, freaking out. He's not attacking. It's very normal. It's too normal. And I love it. I love how normal he's behaving. Just a confession. Just a normal confession. Except to a zombie, and instead of throwing herself around your neck and hugging you and kissing you, she wants to throw herself around your neck to bite it. And this is a breakup scene. This is a breakup. It's not running away from danger, it's a breakup. I love it. I don't have to go to work ever again. It's like a dream. It is. Honestly, it is. Either way, there's never enough time to do all the things we want. In that case, I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna try to cross over as many things as I can. Leaving money, he's no thief. After all, money has no value anymore in this society, but he's a proper member of society, and he knows that products acquired need to be paid for. And amazing music. 100 things I want to do before becoming a zombie. And amazing song in the finale, in the ending, with some great message that everybody should, take to heart. Not in the falling into despair kind of a way, because you can take it like that, of course, absolutely. But in the current status quo, it's kind of fucked, and we should try changing it kind of way. I love it. I love it. I absolutely adore this show so far, and I don't think that feeling is going to change anytime soon, if at all. What is going to change, however, is the view. Because right now, I want to see who's responsible for this masterpiece. First of all, studio Bug Films. Never heard of them. Well, no wonder I never heard of them, because that's literally their only show. Is this a situation similar to Mushoku Tensei, where the studio was founded pretty much entirely for the reason of adapting it? Surreal comedy, post-apocalyptic survival, heterosexual male protagonist, gore, body horror, achromatic, 53%. I mean, there were some... Or maybe it appears later on. Yeah, I guess there were some achromatic shots, sure. CGI, seinen, nudity, a little bit so far, slapstick work. Yep, all the tags check out. Recommended High School of the Dead, obviously. Gakkugurashi, obviously, because Gakkugurashi is similar in a way where an apocalypse is treated very normally, at least to a degree. Zombieland Saga, because zombies and chainsaw men, because of gore and blood, I'm assuming. So now let's start with the staff. That is a lot of... Jesus, that's a lot of people. We're not going to check out all of them, of course, but the most important people for sure. Original story, Haro Aso, and original character design, Kotaro Takata. Haro Aso also made Imawa no Kuni no Aris. No You Girl, this looks interesting. Sex-chan, well, that's an interesting title for sure. And some other manga. And Kotaro Takata provided art for Zone 100, I Am Sherlock, Hallelujah Overdrive. Interesting. And Spaitachi no Yoru. Next, director for sure, and assistant director, why not? Director is Kazuki Kawagoe, who also directed Komi-san both seasons, and not much besides that. Interesting. And Hanako Ueda, the assistant director, also directed the opening of Idol Master, some episodes of Summertime Render, ED animation and color design of Komi-san, second season, and some direction roles on Pokemon. Again, not many roles. Directed by fairly, maybe not entirely newcomers, but people with not a lot under their belt. Which is interesting, because the direction so far has been really good. Composition, I usually don't check out series composition, but this is the times where I have to. Series composition, Hiroshi Seko, who also provided series composition to Jujutsu Kaisen, second season, Shingeki no Kyojin, Vinland Saga, Chainsaw Man script, Mob Psycho script and series composition, Jujutsu Kaisen script, Shingeki no Kyojin, Spriggan, Doro Doro script to the Omake, at least, and script and composition to Doro Doro series proper, more Shingeki no Kyojin, script of Darling in the Franxx, Kagegurui script, Ajin, Shingeki no Kyojin, Ajin, Owari no Seraph script and composition, script to episode 5 of Kill la Kill, interesting, production assistant and script writer for Panty and Stocking. I wonder how many people from Trigger are involved in this show. Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, again, production assistant. And also story for some Shingeki no Kyojin manga. Character design, Ki Tanaka. Tanaka? Animation director, mostly it seems, in Key Animation, for Kaguya-sama Spy Family. Character design for Puraure, Cute Girls Doing Hokey, interesting. Character design for Kumodesuga, Cabaneri animation director, Fate, Key Animation on Flip Flappers, and that's about it. Who else do I want to check out? Main animator, absolutely. There is 4 main animators. 4 of them. And I guess you can feel that, because the animation is Hayato Tori, affiliated with Bug Films, previously affiliated with OLM. Okay, Summertime Render, main animation on Komi-san, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Kill la Kill, second Key Animation and Key Animation. Not many roles. Key Animation on Little Witch Academia, the TV edition. Next we have Haruyoshi Nomura. Pretty much the same series as far as I can see. Summertime Render, again, Isekai One Turn Kill Nessan, Komi-san. Yeah, but also Aho Girl, Beatless, Owari Monogatari, second Key Animation, Juomujin no Fafnir, and Kankol Movie, and Kankol. Next we have Fuminori Ishimaru, Key Animation on Tonikaku Kawaii, again, Summertime Render, Komi-san. Wait, is Komi-san made by OLM Studio? And all of them come... Yeah, it's made by OLM, so I guess those people are either formerly affiliated with OLM or they are freelancers. Owari Monogatari, again, Girlish Number, Aho Girl, Kantai Collection. And William Lee. Key animation on second episode of Chainsaw Man, and again, Summertime Render, Komi-san. Skate. Doro Doro key animation, episode 10. Mostly key animation on singular episodes. Princess Principal. All things considered, none of the people so far have a particularly large portfolio. Interesting. Art design and art director for sure. Art design, Masaki Watanabe. Blue Archive anime, PV. Kiseiju, Holy Night Light, the Arknights short anime, and not much more. And those Frontline, background art and background manager, Ryuta Hayashi. Similarly, Blue Archive, and Arknights. And Gakuto Gonbei, art director for Gridman as well. The Blue Archive short, Blue Archive short, SSN Dionysion, Pokemon Evolutions, Arknights, more Arknights, the PVs at least, Azure Lane anime PVs, not much more. Interesting. Color design and editing. Color design Aya Oichi. Color design on Alduno Zero. Highly recommend. Really cool show. What else that I would recognize? Not much more, because those are mostly just older anime. Yuki Honda, editor of Ars no Kyoju. What else? Beach Boy, Those Frontline. And not much more. What's going on? What's going on? CG producer and director. Producer Yuji Tsuyuki. Also 3D CG on Dr. Stone, Bleach. And not much more. Kazuta Furuya, CG director on Bleach, Those Frontline, World Trigger. Bakemonogatari photography, Mushishi photography. And what is this? That looks interesting. And not much more. Oh, I'm not a huge fan of the art style. Is this a movie or an anime? It's an anime. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Music. Yes, music. Please, 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 please. I want to know about music. Makoto Miyazaki. Also, some music for Idolmaster, Spy Family, Doro Doro, Fairy Gone, One Punch Man, No Game No Life Zero, Grimgar, One Punch Man, Iron-Blooded Orphans, Hyoka, and some hentais. And all things considered, again, not much more. And the music is a banger. Maiko Ada, music selection. Hiroyoshi Osumi, music producer. Music selection. Devilman Crybaby. Not much more. Gurren Lagann, I guess, as well. Hiroyoshi Osumi, music producer for Komi-san. And that's about it. Is there gonna be anybody with, like, large portfolio, I wonder? Advertising, CG supervisor, theme song performance. I'm assuming that's the song we heard during the ending. Kanabun, and the ending, Shiui. Okay, Kanabun. They also... Japanese rock band. Okay, so it must be that song then, if it's rock. Yamada-kun, Road of Naruto, Enen no Shobutai, Boruto, Boku no Hero Academia, Naruto, not much more, and Iron-Blooded Orphans 2. Shiui, ending. Theme song performance for Witch from Mercury. Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing the ending. Script for episode 1, sure. Hiroshi Seko. Also script for Shingeki no Kyojin, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, a couple of episodes, Spriggan, more Shingeki no Kyojin, Dorodoro, Vinland Saga, Mob Psycho, Darling in the Franxx, Kakegurui, Shingeki no Kyojin, Ajin, Owari no Seraph, PSG, Kill la Kill. Oh, we've already been through him because he's a script writer for the entire series as well. Key animation, Hiroaki Takagi. Actually, there's way too many key animators to go through. That's a lot of roles listed. So it wouldn't feel good to be checking out just a single key animator, so I'm just not gonna check out any of them. Assistance, photography, licensing, organization. Okay, those roles don't really matter all that much. Interesting. It seems the staff is pretty much chock full of newcomers, and the studio has no prior experience, it seems, either. It reminds me of Studio Nut situation. They appeared, made Yojo Senki, it was a banger, and they established themselves with Yojo Senki. It seems to me like Bug Films is going to establish themselves with Zone 100. I would really like them to try and bring Oddman 11 to screens. I feel like they might just do Oddman 11 justice. My first pick is still Studio Trigger for Oddman 11, but I have a feeling they might manage as well. Okay, so that was stuff. Characters. Seiyu. We have plenty of them, but most of them are just Senpai A, Senpai B, Josei Zombie, Client, so they don't matter all that much. I certainly want to check out the main cast. Even people we haven't met yet. Akira Tendo, our main character, voiced by Shiichiro Umeda, who also voiced someone in Mashle. I'm still yet to watch Mashle. And not much more. That's gonna be the most commonly used phrase in this episode, it seems. And not much more. But then he started his career in 2019, so I guess it would make sense. And he's 1 year younger than me. Characters that we haven't met. Shizuku Mikazuki, voiced by Tomori Kusunoki. Beatrix Amerhauser, voiced by Minami Takahashi. And Kenichiro Ryuzaki, voiced by Makoto Furukawa. Tomori Kusunoki, voicing Karen in SAO. Latif. Oh, I saw Latifa and I thought that is Amaburi getting a second season? No, unfortunately not. Who's she voicing this time around in this show? Sorry, Tomori Kusunoki. Shizuka Mikazuki. And also voicing, yeah, Shizuka Mikazuki. Also voicing someone in Spy Kyoshitsu. Makima! Okay. I did not expect Makima's voice actress to appear here, but here we go. Someone in a Haren-san, Senpai in Senpai Girl's Eye, Wonder Egg Priority, Pricon, Prichan, Anima Yell. Not many roles. Or at least not many roles that I would recognize. It's surprising to see Makima among characters that I don't really know. I guess Love Live, that's a series that's recognizable, so that would bring her a lot of notoriety. Next we have Minami Takahashi, the voice of Beatrix Ammerhauser. And she voices Shia in Arifureta. Yep. Shia in Arifureta. And who else? Lukoa in Kobayashi-san. Shia and Lukoa? Sure, the voice actress? Interesting. Baltimore in Azure Lane. Some role in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yamada Elf in Eromanga Sensei. And more Lukoa. Kokona from Flip Flappers. Someone in ReZero. Oshiete Galko-chan. Trine from Strike the Blood. And nobody else that I would recognize. And next we have Makoto Furukawa, who voices Kenichiro Ryuzaki and also voices Benimaru, Taiju, Shadik, Haro. Shadik and Haro share a voice. That's interesting. I wonder if it's gonna spawn any sort of fan art. Otaku Hero in Shoujo Magical Destroyers. Who else? Shadik, yeah. Oh, Miyuki Shirogane in Kaguya-sama. And nobody else I would recognize, I'm afraid. Okay, Saitama. I certainly recognize Saitama. Narrator in Saiki-kun. Saitama. And that's about it. Next, we have Saori Otori. She didn't spend much time in this show, but she was memorable for sure. And she also voiced Elizabeth in Nanatsu no Taizai. Also, Nazuna. Wait, Nazuna? Really? Maybe. Okay, I guess she has a little bit of a range to her voice, for sure. Miyako from Precon, Miko from Mirko-san. Who else? Akemi Soryuin from Dumbbell. Crush Lulu in Overlord. Hitomi Uzaki in Killing Bites. And Miya in Monmusu. I was about to say that it's about as many characters as I can recognize, and here's Miya. And that is about it. And the next secondary characters, Shacho, Gonzo Kosugi, and Takahashi Senpai. The rest is just randos. Okay, who voiced Zombie? Sure, I wanna see the voice actress of the zombie. Shacho was voiced by Chafurin. And Chafurin voiced also nobody I know, I'm afraid. Yep, I don't know any of those characters. But I do recognize the names of the shows, so I guess Conan, Higurashi, Death Note, Bleach even. And his career goes way back into the 90s. 92, 89, into 80s, into 60s. Okay. Okay, he's been in the business since the 60s. He doesn't look 61. That's for sure. Kenta Miyake, who voices Gonzo, also voices Jack Hammer in Baki, Bleach, High Card Hikari no O, All Might in Boku no Hero Academia, Kokyutus, okay, Kokyutus in Overlord. Generally voices big, square-jawed, bulky men, it seems. Also, Dragonite, sure. Ninja Batman role, Shingeki no Kyojin. Some video game roles? Okay, Final Fantasy. Someone in Tokyo Ghoul Square Root A. I can't say I remember any names or characters from Tokyo Ghoul. It was completely wiped out from my memory with Route A. And nobody else I would recognize, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's the early 2000s. So chances are I haven't seen any of this anime. Next we have Shinya Takahashi, the voice of Takahashi Senpai. Takahashi? Okay, I guess he plays himself. What's that? Oh, Jitsu wa Oresaikyo deshita. It comes out this season. It's already coming out, I think, even. Besides that... Anybody else? The little furry dude in Kobayashi-san, one of the Dragon Slayers gang members, also in Kobayashi-san. Atli in Vinland Saga, someone in JoJo's, Kuramoto in Tokyo Ghoul. And those are Yana in Kobayashi-san, and Sona, and Kacho, and Toda, and Yamashita, and Tatsuta. He is pulling his weight in Kobayashi-san. But I'm afraid Okuro in Amaburi. I'm afraid I don't recognize any other roles here. Okay, Hiromichi in Beelzebub. Great series, Beelzebub, by the way. Go and watch it. Akari Kikunaga, who voices Shufu Zombie. Also voiced not many roles, unsurprisingly. And I think that does it. The rest are just completely background characters. Oh, it's getting a dub? Apparently, it's getting a dub. I have zero knowledge in English dubbing actors, so I'm not even gonna check them out because there's no point. So, so. That was the first episode of Zom 100, and it was enough to make me want more. And I'm in luck because there is more right now. There's more to see. So, so I will. I probably will. If not today, then tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then in some spare day of mine. But I will definitely see more of it. It's really, really surprising to me how none of the staff members and none of the voice actors, well, besides like two people, I guess, have any sort of extensive pedigree, so to speak. Those are mostly people who had 5, 10 roles, maybe a dozen, hardly the veterans of the industry, and they managed to create something so unique and something so great. I guess it's not dissimilar from any sort of an indie scene, right? It pertains to indie games, indie movies, indie books, indie stories, indie whatever, that only they actually take risks. A small indie-ish studio is willing to take risks, is willing to introduce technicolor blood and ridiculous plots, and is willing to adapt such a ridiculous story to the screen and do it with people who don't have much experience, people for whom this show, this production is a chance to gain that experience. Because once you get veterans of the industry and once you get a big studio and a lot of money, you don't want to take risks, right? You want to work with what's selling. You want to make another installment of COD, you want to make another installment of FIFA, you want to make another battle royale game, you want to make another isekai. And because those are safe bets, they will sell. Maybe not much, but there is a certain lowest point that you are not going to earn any less than that. It's a safe bet. Meanwhile, smaller studios like Studio Nut, like Studio Bug in this case, they're taking upon themselves those crazy plots and crazy ideas and crazy adaptations. And I can't help but appreciate that. I guess Trigger is also kind of similar, kind of sorta. They are making some safe-ish things, but most of them are fairly unsafe, actually. Even Darling in the Franxx was ultimately, it didn't end well. People really didn't like the latter part, and it was maybe not a flop, but it probably didn't do as well as they expected. But they did it. Except they have like their own Patreon, and they're willing to collaborate with other studios, and they're willing to do all those things that bring them money for the chance to make PSG2. Yeah, I really love the style. I really love the art style, the animation, and not even shoddy CG can make me dislike this show, unless it becomes really egregious, like Adifudeta Season 1 levels, which I don't think it will become. I think it will be serviceable throughout, at least serviceable. I'm gonna have to watch another episode to fully learn about characters, because today's episode wasn't quite enough. Then again, I don't know if this series is going to be actually deep enough for learning about characters to make sense. Okay, maybe deep enough is not the best way to put it. What I mean is, this show mostly deals with style and story. Everything else, including characters, is just a medium they tell that story and convey that style through. That's the vibe I'm getting so far, which is why I said I would need to see a few more characters and their interactions to fully form my opinion. I lost my train of thought. Good. It's good. Me watch more. I guess that's how I'm gonna sum it up. And we're nearing 2 hours, so I think I should stop it right here. And maybe ask you guys, what did you think of this show, of my reaction, my theories? I didn't really have any. Stuff like that, say so down in the comments below. No spoilers, of course. I know the manga is out and further episodes of the anime, so even if you've seen them, even if you read the manga, please don't spoil it to me. I want to experience it all myself. If you do want to talk spoilers with other fellow fans of the show and of the manga, maybe, link here and also in the description will lead you to my Discord server, where you can find the Zom100 Discord channel, where you can discuss things to your heart's content. But leave a comment as well for the algorithm gods. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Zom 100 but also Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, Helk, Atelier Ryza, and others coming at ya in the future. Subscribe, already said that. I also stream sometimes. The boxes you see behind me are Gunpla. I'm gonna be assembling them live on stream probably next week, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of when I go live. And I also stream some gacha games sometimes and others. So yeah, bell, subscription, all that jazz. Support the channel if you want monetarily, for example on Patreon, linked down below in the description, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, Madoka Magica, and others. I'm gonna be watching movie of Madoka Magica soon-ish. And for just a single $1 a month you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. 9%, over 9% of traffic to my channel comes here from Reddit, for example. So it really helps. And now, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Fruit, Zay Rainer, Akamancer, Yuki Ally, Fassel, Dr. Watt, Marsh, and Hans Peter, and you can join their ranks without having to turn into a zombie.